Greetings, everyone. It's Aaron Christensen with Horror 101 with Dr. AC, and welcome back to Scare-A-Thon 2024, benefiting the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. Tonight, I am very excited to be chatting about Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker from 1982, aka Night Warning, which was how we billed it when we included it in our book, Hidden Horror, with a fantastic essay by Brian Kirst. Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker was directed by William Asher, who came into prominence working with Lucille Ball on her show, and this was his foray into the thriller department. And because it was created in 1981, it was definitely influenced by the slasher movement of the early 80s. So there's some pretty decent kills and gore sequences. However, what really elevates this film is the lead performance by Susan Tyrell, Oscar nominee for Fat City back in 1972. However, 10 years later, she has just ripened and she is just tearing up the screen. I will often equate her performance here with Bette Davis's in Whatever Happened to Baby Jane, because both of them are completely over the top, and yet the camera manages to contain them. Their performances do not feel false. They feel incredibly huge and authentic. And there's never a moment that I think this person's overacting. I just think, wow, this character is out of control. So our story follows Aunt Cheryl, played by Susan Tyrell, who is the aunt of Billy, played by Jimmy McNichol, real-life brother of Christy McNichol. Both of them were teenage heartthrobs, and Billy's parents have died in an auto accident, a rather impressively staged automobile accident that kicks off the film. That was actually shot later by none other than Jan de Bont, who would go on to direct things like Speed and Twister. He directed that opening car crash sequence. And Aunt Cheryl is very protective of Billy. She's very close to Billy. Some might say uncomfortably close, and some being everybody who looks at this film and goes, oh my gosh, what is she doing? Get off of him. One night, a very frustrated Aunt Cheryl makes a pass at the TV repairman, and when he rejects her, she savagely stabs him to death with a knife. Billy is forced to cover up for her, which introduces our secondary villain, Detective Joe Carlson, played with incredible gusto by Bo Svenson. He of the Walking Tall sequels of the late 70s, early 80s. So Detective Carlson is trying to figure out who actually murdered this guy. He turns out he's incredibly racist and homophobic. Billy's gym teacher is gay, and turns out Billy's gym teacher had a relationship with the murdered man. And once Detective Carlson finds that out, he forces the coach to resign. Meanwhile, Billy and his girlfriend Julie, played by Julia Duffy, later of Newhart fame, are getting it on hot and heavy, and Aunt Cheryl is not having any of that because, well, she's got her eye on Billy herself. Yes, it's a twisted tale of Oedipal nightmares and racist, bigot cops. And at the center of it all is Susan Tyrell, who is just chewing up the scenery, tearing up every single scene she's in. It's incredible. It is a true tour de force performance. Additionally, we get to see Bill Paxton in one of his first roles, billed as William Paxton. This is 2 years before The Terminator and 4 years before Hudson in Aliens. This is a very young and hungry Bill Paxton. He looks like he could actually use a sandwich, to be honest. But there is so much to recommend this film. Character actor Steve Easton plays our basketball coach, and it's one of the very first positive portrayal of a homosexual character on screen. Up until that point, they'd pretty much been played for laughs, or they were seen as perverts. Here we have a very sympathetic portrayal, and in some ways, this coach is a genuine hero. Now, for the longest time, this film was only available in pan and scan, and then there was a DVD release, but now Severin has outdone themselves with a UHD release, and it has fantastic cover art, a two-sided sleeve, plus you have that cover art and that cover art. So it is just a bounty of goodness. There are three commentary tracks. A solo one with Jimmy McNichol. There is an audio commentary with our co-writer, producer Steve Breimer and Alan J. Gluckman. And that is moderated by Nathaniel Thompson, who is one of my favorite authors. You can check out his stuff at Mondo Digital. And then there's a third audio commentary by co-producer and unit production manager Eugene Mazzola. And then our second disc, because yes, there are two discs. We have an interview with Bo Svenson. We have an interview with our director of photography, Robbie Greenberg. There's an interview with Ted Nicolau, who edited this film, among many others. and he also directed the Subspecies series. And then there are interviews with Jimmy McNichol, Steve Easton, makeup effects artist Alan Apone, and producer Richard Breimer. But the jewel in the crown is an interview with Susan Tyrell, who starts off the interview telling everybody how much she hated doing this movie, how she was coerced into it. And then we get to watch her watch the movie, and she is the queen of the reaction video. Watching her watch this movie is so incredible. It's clear she's never watched it before, or if she has, she hasn't seen it for a very long time. It's all fresh to her, and she's very impressed with herself. She's confused a lot of the time as to what the hell's going on, and she comes away saying, oh my gosh, that was great fun. R.I.P. Susan, we love you. I cannot recommend this movie and this release enough. It is absolutely worth your time. If nothing else, check it out. It's streaming on several different outlets. It's known by Night Warning and Butcher Baker Nightmare Maker. And I hope you check it out soon, and I hope you love it. Again, this is Scare-A-Thon 2024, benefiting the Women's Reproductive Rights Assistance Project. If you'd like to know more about the fundraiser, go right here to this video, and you'll learn all the details. There'll also be a link at the end of this one. And you can also just drop right down now into the description of this video, and you'll find the link that will take you to the donation platform, because now is the time to make a difference, make your voice heard. Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.